kwacha per apple, and the price of bananas is 10 kwacha per banana. Right? Question 1. Construct the budget constraint equation. Okay, so if we remember, colleagues, the budget constraint equation: income equals price of apples multiplied by quantity of apples plus price of bananas multiplied by quantity of bananas. Right. This is the budget constraint equation. Alright. So what is our income? 500 kwacha. The price of apples, 10 kwacha per apple, so we're going to say 10A. Okay, A represents the quantity of apples, plus quantity of bananas of apples is 5 kwacha, right? It is 5A. Plus price of bananas, 10 kwacha per banana, so quantity of bananas will be represented by B, 10B. Okay, colleagues, this is the budget constraint equation. You have a 500 kwacha and you can only buy apples or bananas. Any questions? Okay, we have just followed this format for our budget constraint equation here. Are there any questions? Okay. Next part, if the consumer buys apples only, how many apples can he buy? And then also, what about bananas? So here, this is basically what, if we make the graph, it's these 2 points here which we're talking about, okay, colleagues? The intersects, okay? So if this consumer just buys apples alone, we want to find out how many apples he can buy. Okay. So remember, formula is just the income divided by the price of apples. Okay. The income is 500 kwacha. The price of apples is 5 kwacha per apple. Okay. So 500 divided by 5, 100 apples. Okay. So if the consumer just buys apples, you can buy 100 apples, okay? And if it's bananas, we want to find out if he spends all the money on the bananas, we just say income over price of bananas. The income is 500 kwacha, price of bananas 10 kwacha, 500 divided by 10, 50 bananas. Okay. The consumer can only buy 50 bananas. Any questions, colleagues? Wonderful. Okay, show this on a graph. Alright, so we have to decide which will be on the x-axis, which will be on the y-axis. Alright, so we can say we can put bananas on the y-axis. Here, So we come back to our intercepts. Okay, if the consumer just buys bananas, can only buy 50 of them. Okay, so here this is the y-axis. We're going to put here 50. Okay, if you only buy bananas, you buy 50. In apples, if you only buy apples, you can only buy 100 apples. So here you're going to put 100 apples. Okay. Then the graph is like this. You just connect the 2 points like this. Okay. This line is showing the combination of apples and bananas you can buy while you're maintaining the income of 500 kwacha. Any questions? Okay, so the slope, alright, so remember the slope is negative px over py, so we just see which one's on our x-axis. It is apples, alright, so the price of apples, so we'll say PA, price of apples, negative PA, over price of bananas. So how many bananas, how many bananas are we giving up to get more apples? Okay. So the price of apples is, with the price of apples is 5 kwacha per apple. Price of bananas is 10. Divided by 10, that is half, or 0.5. Okay. So what this is telling us is to get one more apple, you need to give up half a banana. Okay. To get one more apple, you need to give up half of a banana. Okay. This is like the trade-off rate between these two goods. Okay. So when they say to interpret this, calculate the slope and interpret what it means. In order to get one more apple, you have to give up half or 0.5 bananas. Okay. We're going to say the slope equals 0.5. Yes. So in order to get one more apple, you need to give up 0.5 bananas. And this is constant, that's why the line is straight like this. Okay. Yes. Any questions? Next part, if the price of apples drops to 2.5, find the new budget constraint equation. Okay, so the new budget constraint equation, what is that? So B and the 500 stay the same, it's just that A becomes 2.5 now. We have 2.5 here. price of apples 2.5 there. Okay. Yes. So what's the next question? Okay, let's just see what happens to our budget constraint line. Okay, colleagues. Since the price of apples has dropped. Okay. So if we spend all our money on the apples, okay, income over price of apples, let's say 500 divided by 2.5, $200. Okay, 200. Okay. So if we come to our budget constraint equation, this in 200 here. Okay. The bananas still remain at 50. Okay. But now the apples double. Okay. You can now buy 200 apples. Okay. Any questions? Okay. The next part tells us if the income increases from 500 to 1000 kwacha and the price of apples is still 5 kwacha per apple and the price of bananas is 10 kwacha per banana, we repeat the process. Okay, meaning first we need to set up a budget constraint equation. So the income has changed, so the only thing that's changing in this new budget constraint equation is that 500. Okay, it become now 1000. Okay, budget constraint equation, our income has increased now. Okay. Yes. So now, if we only had to buy apples, how many apples can we buy? So you say income over price of apples. Okay. You're only buying apples. Okay, so 1000 divided by 5. This is 200 apples. Now buy 200 apples. If it come to bananas, if we say okay, we want to buy bananas, okay, later 1000 divided by price of bananas is 10. So now we can buy 100 bananas. Okay. Our income has doubled. Even the amount of goods we can buy has also doubled. Okay. Apples now, when our income was 500, we could only get 100 apples. Now since our income is 1000, we can get 200 apples. Bananas, we could only get 50 when we had the 500 income. But now, with the 1000 income, we can get 100. Okay. So, let's see the slope. Oh, I mean, let's see this on a graph. This, the slope, I think, okay, the slope. the slope will still stay the same because the prices of apples and bananas hasn't changed. So the slope will still stay the same. Okay. So bananas, now we can get 100 bananas. Okay, we now can get 100 bananas. And now we can get 200 apples. Okay, so let me erase this one first here so that we see what happens to our budget constraint line. So when the income increases, it's like we get a shift in the budget constraint line. Okay, and this is like a shift. Okay. The slope will still stay the same, okay, but there's a shift in the budget constraint line. Okay. So if you ever ask in multiple choice, what causes a shift in the budget constraint line, you just say income. If your income increases, it shifts to the right. If your income reduces, the budget constraint is going to shift to the left. So basically we repeated the steps which we were asked to do. The question is done.